The trajectory of boxing and the way it's going is just going up, up, up. I mean, you gotta give a little praise to the celebrity boxing stuff. It wouldn't be in the realm and space that it is now. We got Dana White, Turki Al-Sheikh, however you say his name, blessing the sport, giving the boxers and the fans what they want and what they need. That's nothing but a blessing to the sport. Come on now.
Would you ever entertain a fight with the Mexican monster, David Benavidez?
Bro's too big.
He's
too big.
We're talking with PBC, and we'll be making fights with them.
Is part of Turki Al-Sheikh and the new is part of that prompting you guys to work together more when in the past you may not have?
That is correct.
Oh man, God, good morning, War Room. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about this morning. Hell, Ryan Garcia, he's back. He announced that he's back with Derek James. We're going to talk about that. Also, Terrence Bud Crawford, you guys sent me this clip of, it was a short, but then I went to Pound for Pound with Henry Cejudo and Usman. Love you, boys. Where Terrence Crawford said that he wouldn't fight David Benavidez. He might as well go to heavyweight if you're going to fight him. We're going to talk about that.
I might as well go to heavyweight if I fight Benavidez.
Yeah.
Also, on my live for the Williams Zepeda versus Tevin Farmer live, you guys brought up Bob Arum. And when he was talking about Top Rank joining forces with the PBC. Love you, boys. To compete against His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. We're going to talk about all that stuff. And honestly, you guys were the first ones to tell me about Ryan Garcia going back to Derek James. And I didn't know for sure if that was the case, but you guys saw it before I did. That's why I love the War Room. Okay, so let's start off with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is back with Derek James. There's a lot of questions, and I have answers. The reason why, we all know that Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez were both agreed to be trained by Eddie Reynoso, Team Canelo. And now, all of a sudden, Ryan Garcia is with Derek James. Well, first he announced that he wasn't going to be with Eddie Reynoso, that he was going to be trained by his father. And then you hear Teofimo Lopez say the same thing, that he's no longer trained with Eddie Reynoso. Now, I learned when I was collabing with DAZN, remember when Canelo Alvarez punched me in the stomach.
I've seen so many videos
my stomach
of Canelo Alvarez punching fans in the stomach. They asked for it, of course, but I feel like he enjoys it a little bit too much.
That. I knew then why. Eddie Reynoso said that he was going to focus on Canelo Alvarez to be two-time undisputed at 168 in his fight against William Skull come May 3rd. The Canelo and William Skull fight is the next day after, May 2nd, the Times Square fight with Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez. There was no way he was going to juggle all three of them. Pause. That was it. Hold on, let me get my black two sugars. I haven't gotten my black two sugars in yet. Okay. Pause. But he wasn't going to train all three, so he focused, of course, on Canelo Alvarez. That he's his prized pupil. So Ryan Garcia was going to train with his father, Henry Garcia. What I do like is that Ryan Garcia, or first, shout out to Henry Garcia, for him to be like, listen, Ryan, you have grown beyond what I was teaching you when you were a kid. Okay, now, I love when fathers take that back seat. I remember when Bill Haney, love you boy, did the exact same thing. Bill Haney training Devin was like, okay, he's outgrown, right? But by that time, the Born Arrow effect sunk in, was already too established. But listen, I do remember Bill Haney saying that he needed help in his corner. And that's a great humbling moment there when you realize, you just cannot take your son to where he needs to reach. Now, so Henry Garcia and Ryan Garcia reaching back out to Derek James, and Derek James accepting that assignment. Listen, In the war room, we all agreed. It was a couple lives ago where we were like, Derek James was his best trainer, was better for Ryan Garcia than Eddie Reynoso. And I mean, we thought about it, right? And it was like, yeah, I mean, his performances with Derek James were better than the performances with Ryan Garcia. He had 2 fights with Derek James, Oscar Duarte, which that was a huge, bro. Talking about a huge risk, low reward. Oscar Duarte, Ryan Garcia has said repeatedly that was the hardest he's ever been punched. Oscar is a problem, okay? Big kid, and Ryan Garcia put together the right game plan with Derek James to beat him, okay? And he was a focused Ryan Garcia, but it was the first training camp with Derek James, so there was a lot to learn, all right? End up flying the wisdom tooth of Duarte. First time we saw the silly shell, really, and that wasn't Derek James, that was Ryan Garcia, but still.
It did look crazy. I'm not
Follow that up with his performance, the best performance of his career, what he did with Devin, the American Dream Haney. Derek James put together the right game plan for that. The thing is, Ryan Garcia wasn't committed, all right, with Derek James. And I was hearing those things early on. And they still put together the right game plan. So the first one with Oscar Duarte, it was their first time in training camp together, working together. The second time was Devin Haney, and Ryan Garcia was going through huge mental health issues and he wasn't focused. And still, those were like 2 of his best performances. You can argue the Luke Campbell performance with Eddie Reynoso, but he had that huge flaw of leaning straight back. He was doing that repeatedly, and he got dropped against Luke Campbell, and he got up and he knocked out Luke Campbell with a body shot. But what I'm saying is, against Oscar Duarte with Derek James, you start to see that subside a bit. And then with Devin Haney, he wasn't doing that much at all. So Derek James teaching them the fundamentals and correcting those mistakes, all right? Which, if you don't have that experienced trainer or that third party giving that extra look, right, then you can still be doing it. That was a bad habit for Ryan Garcia, like the Devin Haney born arrow effect, except for Derek James is correcting that. I think Ryan Garcia with Derek James is probably the best go anyway. And with Rolly, he's going to need a phenomenal jab, and Derek James is great with that. He's great also with highlighting the attributes, the athletic attributes of the physical attributes of his fighters. Right? You see that with Errol Spence. You see that with Jamel Charlo, how he can highlight what they have, their quick twitch, the things that they have, their power, their strength, their height, their reach, all the stuff that they have. And he knows how to make them violent and execute a very violent approach behind fundamentals. And I think that's exactly what Ryan needs. Ryan definitely needs to keep his gifts, his speed, his reflexes, all those things,
just needs to refine
which
that
Derek
defense,
James
too.
is accustomed to highlighting. But on top of that, you have him teaching or keeping or hardening the fundamentals, the foundation, which makes a boxer, the technical things that makes a boxer a good fighter.
You want to get caught with a shot, you go immediately back to the fundamentals. That's just how it goes. So you must keep those fundamentals in check at all times and not drink the Kool-Aid.
And so, implement that jab and all those things, because Rolly Romero he's not seen as a technical fighter at all.
No,
so you don't want Ryan Garcia to lean more towards just his physical attributes and just his reflexes. You do want him to be geared towards the fundamentals, because that's going to get him through Rolly. You don't want wild Rolly versus wild Ryan. All right, so I think Derek James, that is great going back to him.
Rolly would win that, I feel like.
A focused Ryan Garcia with experience with Derek James. I really want to see what May 2nd Ryan Garcia is going to look like. So I just think it's phenomenal. And I don't know why he doesn't just stay with Derek James. Ryan Garcia, Derek James, I think that's a great match made. But either way, you're not losing with Eddie Reynoso. Now, let's talk about Terrence Bud Crawford and what he had to say here.
Want to fight Canelo? Would you ever entertain a fight with the Mexican monster, David Benavidez? What you want, Canelo? What you want, Canelo? I gotta ask you, bro, because I can't,
My thing is, Benavidez is a big dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not to say I won't fight him. I fought his brother. You know what I mean? His brother was big.
So he didn't say he wouldn't fight him.
But, you know what I mean? Benavidez is a big dude. The only reason why I entertain Canelo is because he's not a big dude. Like, he might be thick, you know what I mean, but he's not a big dude. Benavidez is like 6 foot something, you know what I mean? Then he gonna come in 190, 200 probably, you know what I mean? Like, I might as well go to heavyweight if I fight Benavidez.
Yeah.
Y'all want to know what I think? Y'all want to know what I think about that? Listen, bro. Yes, David Benavidez is too big for Bud Crawford. Bud Crawford is absolutely right. And Henry Cejudo, when he brought up David Benavidez' skill set with his size, is far too much.
That's a big dude, like, you know what I mean?
And he's skilled, man.
You know what I mean?
I want to say I get what he's saying. His skill set paired with his size, I get it. But Bud is top notch when it comes to skill, but when it comes to size does matter.
But here's what I have to say about that. This is why I think Canelo versus Bud is a mismatch.
I don't.
Because when it comes to Canelo and the Mexican monster, David Benavidez, Canelo's ducking him.
It's a duckaroni with the whole world. Wanna see you and the Mexican monster fight.
What is going on?
Only duckaroni.
Why he ain't got no shirt
won't
on?
lace up the glove.
What's going on?
See the boxing ring and don't wanna go inside.
Canelo should.
We got Canelo and we got John Jones, considered the ducks of each sport. Crazy work going. So John Jones even mentioned he doesn't like Aspinall. Like, he genuinely doesn't like him. I don't think he ducking him. He just don't like him. And I think it's the same for Canelo. I don't feel like these people are scared. I don't feel like they got to the pinnacle of, MMA and boxing just to be scared of one fighter. It's not like it can't happen. But I genuinely don't believe that Canelo likes Benavidez at all. I mean, he gave Bivol an opportunity. I think he's bigger than Benavidez. So, be it as it may. What do you guys think?
Fight him, but not fight him is considered a duck. People think Canelo is scared not to fight him. But when it comes to Bud Crawford fighting David Benavidez, rightfully so, it is insanity to think that's a matchup that needs to happen. Meaning, you think that Bud Crawford versus David Benavidez is like fighting a heavyweight and insane, but Canelo is ducking him, which I think he is. But the point is, how the hell does Terrence beat Canelo then? That's it really doesn't make sense to me.
Okay,
right?
So this is how I see it. If Canelo can't finish Crawford within 1 to 6, in between 1 to 6 rounds, I feel like he's gonna get cooked the rest. Canelo is already a slow starter, but I feel like he'll do the most in the beginning and in the middle than doing the best from the middle to the end. If he can't take Crawford out within 6 rounds, I feel like Crawford would take it. Because the way that Canelo kind of drags the last, like, round 8 and on, it could be a problem because Crawford has a gas tank. And yes, I know, like, the weight, it matters, all that kind of stuff. But when you fighting somebody that just is technical or around the same sphere as technical as a Mayweather, and yes, I know that Canelo has picked up a lot. He's a mixed breed at this point. But I felt as if he's been kind of losing a little bit of momentum. You know what I mean? When he gets into these fights and he kind of drags his feet right about like the 8th round, 7th, 8th round. I see that. And I just see Crawford taking it if he doesn't take him out within 6 rounds, honestly. But within those 6 rounds, I feel like Canelo's the most dangerous, even though he's slow at starting. That's where he's going to have more popular punches, going to be a little bit more quicker. So a little bit more pressure, more than likely, because he walks everybody down. And that's kind of how I see it. So if it goes 6, Canelo. If not, Terrence Crawford.
Terrence versus Canelo is an even fight. But when it comes to the Mexican monster, oh my God. Listen, bro. But when it comes to Canelo and David Benavidez, he's ducking him. Bro, I think everything is true except for the fact that Canelo isn't a mismatch for Bud. Or how about this? It ain't crazy to think that Canelo's a mismatch for Bud. But if you are saying that, listen, Showbiz, Terrence and Canelo is the same size, then all that does, like I said before, it proves that Canelo Alvarez is greater than Bud. Because Canelo and Bud is the same size. But when it comes to David Benavidez, that's like Bud fighting a heavyweight, and it's stupidity.
I might as well go to heavyweight if I fight Benavidez.
Yeah.
But Canelo is ducking him because Canelo has done all these things that Terrence Crawford is impossible for him to do with them being the same size. Me, I don't think they're the same size. I think Canelo is bigger than Terrence Bud Crawford. And I think it's a mismatch. I think Canelo is too skilled. He's skillful enough to fight David Benavidez, the heavyweight, but he's big enough to be able to hurt David Benavidez and absorb his shots because he has campaigned at 168 and became undisputed at 168, and he fought at 175, where David Benavidez is fighting right now, and he was successful at 175. Good fight with Bivol. David haven't even fought him yet. And Canelo Alvarez knocked out Kovalev, all right? So all I'm saying is, I'm not thinking of a triangle theory at all. I'm trying to think of everything the comment section y'all will say, the Bud Buttons will say. I'm not saying the triangle. I'm just talking about how Bud fighting the Mexican monster is insanity, but Canelo's ducking him. But somehow Bud and Canelo the same size. But Bud is greater than Canelo. It's like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, none of that makes sense.
I don't feel like it's convoluted, and I feel like it does make sense, and in the sense of I feel like the skill level is, if not on par, somebody has the edge, and I feel like the edge would more so go to Crawford, just ever so slightly, but the weight difference is substantial, I believe. Just natural weight in comparison to how much Terrence weighs. But I believe previously Terrence got on the scale and he was weighing at like 180. This was like on Instagram. I saw him get on the scale and he weighed at like 180. I was like, so he's sizing up how he's supposed to naturally and not like rushing the process. So it's really going to be a testament to see how if the weight transfer works in his favor, or if Canelo just like completely overpowers him with his size naturally. So, gotta see.
To me, what makes sense is Canelo and Bud is a mismatch, and Canelo should knock out Bud Crawford. All right, now let's move forward. Bob Arum, he said he's going to join forces with the PBC.
We're talking with PBC, and we'll be making fights with them.
Now, this is why a lot of people say His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh is saving boxing, all right? I know, at least from my perspective, I'm not saying that Turki Al-Sheikh by himself, with the actions he literally saves boxing by himself. That's not what his impact. Now you have Top Rank and PBC joining forces to compete against Turki Al-Sheikh. All of this helps you, the fan.
Is part of Turki Al-Sheikh and the new is part of that prompting you guys to work together more when in the past you may not have.
That is correct.
Okay. So that's competition in the marketplace is a good thing, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
See, forget who you are attached to or forget being like, I'm for this promoter, I'm for this team. Be for team fan. Be team yourself. Because as they join forces to compete against Turkey, that means that they have to raise the level or quality of their product. In doing so, the consumer wins. Because you don't want to raise the price because Turkey Al Sheikh is lowering the price.
Yeah.
So now you're having higher quality products that cost less to you. If you guys don't like that, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. Top Rank and PBC joining forces as a result of Turkey Al Sheikh's impact on the sport of boxing is great. And it's an indirect credit to Turkey Al Sheikh and what he does. If not an direct credit to Turkey Al Sheikh and how he's impacted boxing so far, right? So what I'm saying is, there are things that are now possible that I thought wouldn't be. Keyshawn Davis versus Gervonta Tank Davis, or Gervonta Tank Davis, as he'll be the apple card, versus Keyshawn Davis is now something that can materialize since Top Rank and the PBC got to join forces like Voltron to compete against Turkey Al Sheikh. We are seeing matchups with Riyadh season that we thought we'd never see. And there's many more. As long as Turkey Al Sheikh can imagine the matchups happening, the matchups are going to happen, making the fan base happy. Now, what makes us happier is that other promotion companies got to raise their game in order to compete. That's the difference between a competitive market and a monopoly. Competition always works for the consumer. Let me know how you feel in the comments below. Showbiz adult. I'm out.
How do you guys feel about how the trajectory of boxing is going? How May is going to be? What fights are you guys most enticed to see? If you only could see one right now, like that's actually made. But even if it was to be materialized in the future, put it down in the comment section below. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification for any more new content that's coming up in the future. And I'll see you guys soon. Peace.